All right. What's up, everybody? If you're joining us here, we are live for the lunchtime live stream. I'm joined here today with Sean. Sean, so if you want to go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you personally, and then introduce kind of what you do day to day with Momentum.
Thank you, Kev. Dude, this is an absolute pleasure. I love that intro, by the way. That's saucy. I love that. That's fantastic. Yeah, so for the people that don't know me, I am the co-owner of Momentum Digital. We're a full-scale digital marketing agency in Philadelphia. I'm actually in the Pyramid Club right now, one of the most luxurious co-working spaces in the city. So day to day, I handle anywhere from 50 to 75 clients, really just handling PPC, SEO. Virtual tours is a big thing, which I want to get into you and talk with you, Kev, about, because it's unfathomable the amount of traffic you can get with virtual tours. You know what I mean? So this is something we could talk about a little later on. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely want to talk to you about that for our audience to hear. And yeah, for one other, Sean, he owns an agency just like I do. So not our usual suspect on the live, but Sean reached out to me. I think me and him were talking back and forth because he also has a podcast like I do. And so we were kind of talking back and forth, and I thought he'd be a great guest to have on today, teach us a little bit about virtual tours and virtual content. And that's something I think you guys need to know about and understand more. And Google My Business will be brought up as well. For everyone tuning in, please ask questions, make comments. Sean and I will be here to answer those. So start leaving your comments and questions, and we will get to those as we can. Make sure you ask our hard questions, except don't ask Sean where if the ballots are being, done being counted yet, because he is.
Listen, and especially in Pennsylvania, dude, I'm in Philly right now, so you can understand it. It's crazy. You know what I mean?
Sean has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, don't blame the Philly guy. Come on now.
So, that's a crazy year, right? 2020, baby.
It's nuts, man. I mean, listen, I lean a little more right, to be honest, right? But it's like, at the end of the day, we're always going back to the same thing, the lesser of two evils, right? So it's just, and the country's never been more divided. Like you say, you voted for Trump, you're racist. You voted for Biden, you're a sissy. Like it's so fabricated. It's so made up. It's like, can we just all, like, especially in COVID, let's all, hold hands, hug, and just like be united as a people. But everyone wants to have their point, be right, be the person who is, on top. So it's a big ego.
What I say is you can control what's in front of you, get back to work, and you control your personal outcome. For the most part, you're in control. So just control what's around you, have a good life, have good friends, be kind to people, and move on. So Sean, tell me, I guess we want to kick right into this virtual content, the virtual tours.
Yeah, man.
Give us, let's just jump right into that, because I feel like that's something that honestly I know less about. We are huge proponents of Google My Business, and we do a lot of services around Google My Business, especially ranking and management. But tell us a little bit about these virtual tours and what you guys do there and how you do it. And then from there, we can get into the benefits of that too.
Yeah, dude. So for your viewers that don't even know what a virtual tour is, it's really simple. You can actually just take your iPhone. I publish, I have a YouTube channel, which I do every single week, that I post a bunch of videos on what exactly they are, how do they work. But for these virtual tours, man, they started off with real estate, right? People put these real estate virtual tours up. You can walk through it. But as you can imagine, schools, restaurants, retail spaces, all of these wonderful niches came to us during the coronavirus. I think we were able to help like over 500 small businesses in the span of, I don't know, like 3 months during the coronavirus, once it was so crazy. So it was just absolutely absurd to help all these small business owners. My family's a small business conglomerate in the sense where, like, my great-grandfather was, my great-grandmother was, and both of my parents are. So it's really ingrained in me that how hard these people work. So it was an absolute pleasure to help them, man. And, it's something that you can think of it as a blog where you can put keywords into it. We shoot in 4K, so it's going to look wonderful. But think of it as a blog where you're going to be constantly getting reoccurring traffic, posting it on the website, posting it on social media, all that great stuff. So a virtual tour, man, is going to take precedent over a video or a photo, in a small business or real estate setting, in the next 5 years. It's just going to be the new norm. It's like when radio switched over to TV, and now TV switched over to this little computer in your pocket. It's crazy. It's wonderful, man.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And so I guess for the audience watching that maybe is not as familiar as these tours, say I'm on Google, I search around, I'm looking for let's say a retail space or a retail store. And I find a few that are local to me. You're looking at the 3-pack, maybe you're looking at maybe more broad, maybe you go to the full map. But you're looking for, maybe it's fashion, maybe it's clothing. Give us an idea, like what's the step and when they enter into a business that has these types of tours available.
Oh, it's over. I mean, in terms of selling, it's a complete, 180, really. I was gonna say 360, that would make more sense. But you can put in these things called matter tags, right? It looks like little red dots. It's like a teenager with acne, right? Where you put all these red dots in there. You can put in descriptions with SEO, call to actions with LPs, landing pages, YouTube videos, other just photography that you want to put. And then you can link out a website. You know what I mean? So if I could share my screen, which, I wish I could, you could easily go on your phone, go on any website, go to the tour, say, oh my God, this restaurant looks fantastic. I want to take my, my girlfriend here or wife or whatever. And we can, literally click the seat in which I want to book. If you go to a ballpark, like in Virginia Tech, one of my my family, we've had a couple people who have lived in Virginia. Great state, I love it.
Blacksburg.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, I haven't been down there in a while, because of COVID and everything. But more importantly, you can see that for anything, like if you're in a ballpark, it gives you that bird's eye view, which you can kind of click into. But this is a 3D thing where you can literally walk 3 to 5 feet. We take the camera, place it, go on to the next one. And you can say, oh, I want to book this, booth. I want to book this seat, and it's the same thing for ballparks, for stadiums, for restaurants. It's the entire thing. So that's the whole process. And then what you'll see is we can attach that to Google My Business, in their profile. Yeah. And it's great because you can see exactly what the place looks like inside, obviously, but then go in and click and continue to have those call to action. So it's just a really nuanced way of really showing off your space. I mean, how cool would it be? I know you're not in Philly, but how cool would it be if we had the link in Lincoln Financial? You could say, oh my God, I can see the place. It's a virtual tour. And you can literally click, oh, Hall of Fame section, and then buy a ticket right then and there. You see my seat is right here. There's
That's
no
super cool
aerial view. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good point about the restaurant too, or if you want to, especially if they kept it up to date, with COVID, where you can see outdoor seating, or I don't know if you can do other things like that. So, but yeah, I think for anyone listening, especially if you're in SEO and that's important to you, and what Sean's talking about too, when you're going through these tours, the content that you're able to also, get from this and add to this, that's, I assume, searchable. That's going to help you rank. I assume, right now I don't believe we have any clients that we have spaces where they have virtual tours. We're mostly in law and medical, for clientele and home services.
Sure.
But if you're in retail, it sounds, especially right now, if you have a space that is open and you're accepting customers, or a restaurant, that you should have this. That should be a standard thing at this point.
It's a virtual investment when you really think about it, right? Like, I'm not talking about Bitcoin, but this virtual investment is going to transcend your website, because you think you're writing all these blog posts, you're writing all this great content, you're taking a video, but you can intertwine all of that stuff. You can write SEO optimized content. You could have a 4K product with a video. We can attach video too. That's actually something called the highlight reel, where if you guys want to check out, matterport.com, that's where we have our virtual tour software at. That's where you can learn more about it. But it brings everything in together, man. So it's a no-brainer, obviously.
That's awesome. So, and you said, was it matterpoint.com?
Matterport, MATTER port.com.
All right, I'm going to put that in the comments, everybody. Should go up there. All right, definitely want to check that out. So, yeah, think about these virtual tours and whether or not your space should have one. I'm assuming everyone should have one. And think about the content that you can have as well. But it almost kind of reminds me of virtual, augmented reality. Yeah. So where you can literally walk around, walk inside the place. You can see what's going on. You can, but honestly, I wasn't aware that you could do the content like you're saying. So that's a game changer right there in my
Yeah,
mind.
so there's a difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. Virtual reality is what we're talking about with these virtual tours,
Sure.
where you put in, some make-believe world where you can literally just go in there, and it's nothing with the real world, even though you're seeing something in the real world. Augmented reality is like, a Snapchat filter of like a mustache or cowboy hat or something like that. Yeah, but it's the same thing, man. It's going to transcend the way people do business in the future. So I can't, wait to have everyone really get up to speed with it.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. So, so everyone check out that link. Obviously, answer questions too. If you guys got questions about this virtual tours, how do you get it? What's the usual cost? What kind of businesses should have it? Ask Sean, because I'm sure he can answer those questions for you. So as far as what's the process, Sean, for getting this done? As far as like what's the effort involved? You have to have obviously people that have the equipment that are maybe, I don't know if they have to be certified by Google or something like that to do this, but give us some little basics on that.
Yeah.
So we,
I mean, Helen Keller could shoot these virtual tours. You know what I'm saying? It's super, super easy. You, like I said in the beginning of the show, you could do it with your phone. We normally have a 3D camera called the Pro 2.
oh, cool.
And essentially that camera is, going for around $2,300. There's a substitute to that, which is the Ricoh Theta, which is only a couple $100s. That camera, the Ricoh Theta, is probably your best bet for photographers out there that are looking to get more income, get more money. This is something where you don't have to break the bank on. You can just use this camera. But dude, in terms of like, let's just say a single family home, 2,000 square feet, that cost would be like $500, no hosting fee for real estate. For any other industry other than real estate, because you think real estate, you're only going to need this virtual tour until the house sells, right? Or someone buys it, right? So once we get rid of the tour, that's pretty much the use of it. Once we go into the small businesses, now you're talking about a hosting fee. Okay, so that's the difference in niches. In terms of timeline, man, I mean, for a 2,000 square foot house, we could shoot that, John, in 45 minutes, upload it to the Matterport cloud, send the client a preview that same day. So that's a cool thing too, is there's no, the camera does all the work, right? So we shoot, we get all the stitched images together. Matterport in the cloud does it, with their amazing software. And then we slide a fresh copy across the desk to our client, and they're really happy because we can actually add them on the tour itself and say, hey, you want to put in matter tags, you want to optimize it for SEO? Go ahead. Because again, who knows their space best? They do. So it would be more advantageous to go ahead and do that rather than me saying, oh, like, I love your space, but where do you want to put all these tags in here? It's less efficient, man. So the capabilities, I think, there's a bunch of virtual tour software out there. There's Matterport, which I said. There is VPix 360, which is great. There's Ricoh Theta, but Matterport just takes the cake, man. I mean, they've been around since 2010. I think they started in San Fran. So
they're really cool.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, it's great. I've my one uncle, man, who lives in San Fran, he actually did the Netflix series Flint. He shot the drone video for Flint, that Netflix series in Flint, Michigan. He actually introduced me to Matterport way before I even knew this was like even conceivable. So I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. So
that's really cool. So within the software, I guess within Matterport, let's just use them for example. So if I own a retail shop and then you sent me the video and I get it. Within that software, am I able to add these tags and add this content and links?
Yeah, so you're able to add everything. Like I said, photos, YouTube, details of the space. You can actually create a tracking link. How you can create a tracking link for Google Ads. Put that into your CRM. So it says Medium, virtual tour, ad group, or in this case, it would be a call to action with the matter tag instead of like a specific ad group, right? I know it's a little technical for our audience out there, but it's pretty much just like comparing apples to oranges in the sense where you can create a link, put it into your CRM, and understand, oh my God, Sean got us 3 new leads for our school. We got a couple more deals for our automobile dealership. It's just a tremendous thing where you can literally see what's working and what's not. So it's great. And again, the ROI, I could just read you off the stats. I mean, 90% of people build a stronger brand with Matterport. There's, I think, for Momentum as a whole, we were able to get all 500 plus of our clients at least 20% more website traffic just based off of their local search and putting the tour on their website. social medias, all that stuff. So this is a thing that works, and a lot of people don't use it for, like all these other really unique niches. But for real estate, obviously, it's very, very common.
Yeah, definitely makes sense there. So it sounds like everyone listening definitely need to check out virtual tours. If you have a business or if you work for a business, if you're a marketing director or manager listening right now, you need to get on board with this and get this done. So as far as you guys, I mean, when we were chatting beforehand, you said you had like 150 photographers kind of on board that you, I guess, lean on to get these done around the country.
Yeah, dude. So it's really simple. And this is what we talked about, 5 minutes before we launched, right? What I do is take the photographer's address, right? I say, hey, we're going to create a digital Google My Business location, right? So you think if the Google location, their address isn't going to show. So like 123 Pine Street, if it's like, God forbid, a place in Texas, no one's going to be going to that photographer's house. It's going to be a digital thing. So I can then do two things. I save money on not being able to, have I don't have a physical location there. I just have
an address and paying for that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I save on that. And then I also have a digital presence in that location now. So it's fantastic. So we're in all 50 states. My rule of thumb is I want to have 3 photographers in each location. So like, God forbid someone has to cancel, and then another person has to cancel, which the likelihood of that happening is, it's just hell's going to freeze over before that happens, knock on wood at least. But with that said,
it's a good number.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's just a seamless thing. And for, safety precautions and stuff like that, we obviously have everyone be trained, certified with Google, the Google Trusted Photographer program. I myself am a Google Trusted Photographer. Really simple. If you want to do it, just download the Google Street View app. You have to create 50, and this is the thing that's kind of annoying, 50 pano images, so 360 images. So spin around like that, and then add it to Google, and they'll send you a link, and it's a backlink too. So you could say, okay, Sean Boyle, Momentum 360, link out your website, momentumvirtualtours.com, and then boom, you get a backlink from Google. So it's a great thing. And we require that all of our photographers are GTPs. Even though we're using Matterport, they still need to understand the 360 technology. So that's really what our mindset is.
That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're Google partners, and most of my staff is Google certified for one thing or another.
Right.
But that's another one that you can look at doing. So that's not something that I have, but something my team can definitely look at too. So this seems like a no-brainer. Again, anyone listening, if you have a space, these virtual tours, and then GMB, if you're not paying attention to that at all, then that's a bigger problem. But and that's what I see mostly. I just blown away. Really, my sales team, and they'll come back and be like, "Hey, look at this, company we're looking at talking to," and it's like, just a big reputable company for the most part, but just ignores GMB or Google My Business completely. They don't manage it. They don't respond to reviews. They don't even know they have questions being asked. And this is where the world is going. People want, hey, I'm going to ask a question right here on Google to the business, and then they get no response. And I see unanswered questions all the time.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I really want to beat this into people's heads because it's so important. You know what I mean? It's literally like the next new age thing. We were talking about this, and I don't even know if I mentioned it when we were on the air, but it's like literally the radio turning into, the TV, and then the TV into this. You're going to need to be online. So this whole Google social media thing with the Google My Business, it's, the GMB is Google social media, at least what they're trying to do. Keep them on DL. That's what they're trying to do.
I'll tell them.
But dude, it's something where you need to have it for a boatload of reasons. For reviews, if you have a bad review, which we were talking about earlier, you need to respond to that because that's going to build more trust, right? Even if it's, this was the worst thing ever, you got 1 star, you need to respond to it because that's going to.
I agree. We're sorry. We'll fix it.
Yep, exactly.
So, own it.
Yeah, own it, and it, you can't hide on the internet. Gary Vee has a great saying. The internet isn't making you sad. It's just a reflection of you. So you need to be yourself. You can't put on a facade. You can't put on some fake, mask or whatever and be some kind of person. You need to own who you are. And that's as a business owner too. You need to just say, hey, listen, I'm sorry about this. We own up to it. What can we do? That's all you can do.
Yeah, 100%. You have to be, you just got to let things go. If you're like, oh, that was a terrible customer, it doesn't matter. The whole world's watching, and you just need to own up to it and move on. Or it's going to affect your business negatively. If you try to have a back and forth conversation on your reviews about who's right and wrong is the worst thing you can do for
Yeah,
sure.
right. Yeah.
It's just, so you said, yeah, it's like Google social media, and obviously Google Plus was a huge failure.
Yep, huge.
This is Google we're talking about. Google controls everything you do online when it comes to if you're advertising for search ads, if you're trying to get ranked SEO,
Yep.
if your Google My Business is going to show up, if you have local service ads, which is a newer thing, you're paying Google or you're hoping Google's going to reward you. And so, and I see my phone's actually going off because of Google. I just said Google, but so you have to play the game, and and this Google My Business is literally the biggest thing, and they're putting a ton of effort into it, and they don't want you to go to your website. They want you to find the answer on Google. They want you to call from Google My Business. They want you to do the virtual tour and then convert and go to that restaurant or that business. They don't want you to have to go to a website. So Google's just trying to own more real estate, and they want you to go to their homepage, and that's it.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, you got to think that, even though, you can put in a little website, you can do this. At the end of the day, it's all information. You have a question, Google wants to have the answer. That's pretty much it. So, this is why I pride, all of my content people on making, long-term keywords that are going to, not necessarily blow the bank on the search volume, but it's easy to rank for. So we can have that snippet feature at the top. We can be in that map pack, the snack pack, I call it.
The snack pack. I love that. But you said Gary Vee says that. I never heard that one before.
Dude, it's so tasty. What is it? The stats like what? 95% of businesses within that three little box, they get 95% of the views on that page. It's tremendous. I mean, you need to be thinking long term, and these are the keywords that are going to get you there. And they're going to make you an authority figure too. And that's when I did virtual tours. That's why I really thought that we could strike gold here. Is like no one's doing this, and no one's doing it for SEO. And furthermore, I can actually tell you a couple of things that we're doing right now. We're going to be on Groupon selling these virtual tours. No one's doing that. No one's doing Groupon. Yeah, so it's just we've reverted back to cold emails. We're doing all this unorthodox stuff that sure, it's if you do it well and you do it right and properly, it's going to pay you dividends. You know what I mean? So I just love this game, man. I mean, I wake up at 5 a.m. I go to sleep late. It's like I'm obsessed.
Ready to go. I'm the same way. It's go.
Yeah,
and just trying to innovate and trying to stay ahead of things. But GMB is something that's been great for us. It's been great for our clients, and we push it hard. And we've actually have a lot of new clients that we're working with just for Google My Business itself.
Right.
So it's been really cool to see. And Taylor, new guy that's on with us on board with my team out of Texas. We brought him in to hit up a lot of that stuff as far as more of the SEO side, the ranking of GMB.
Sure.
And so that's something we're always working on as well. But definitely need to check out these virtual tours. I'm going to talk to him about that after this, and see what his knowledge is of that. But that sounds like a winning strategy. Again, for us, I would even our law firms and medical clients, it seems like a no-brainer for them. Maybe not the home services where HVAC companies, where you might not be touring their office. Some have more of a showroom type setting.
You'd be surprised. I mean, we don't deal with like that would be correct. Like not a lot of HVAC, but dude, like anything with the physical location we can do, obviously, but it's really dependent upon what are we going to show off. Like I was just talking to one company who they have a school, right? And again, what you were just talking about with Google My Business, they were like, well, we don't necessarily want to, break the bank on this. And like, we like the virtual tour, but we're looking to get more traffic online. I'm like, well, first and foremost, let's look at the Google My Business. Let's look at this. And I don't want to rehash on GMB too much, but you need to look at what works. So I was pitching them that, but you'll see all these crazy things like, what's a crazy niche? I mean, schools have been good. Funeral homes, like people who like they have, they want to not necessarily show off the home itself, but the deceased member's house, so they can kind of make it into like a little metaphorical. What is it when you get cremated? Like that box or whatever. I forget what it's called, but like the thing about
urn. Is it urn?
Yeah, something like that. Where it's like that new age thing where you can say, oh my God, this was grandma's house. You know what I mean? Because that house is going to be
pretty cool, actually. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so it's shout out my boy, what's his name, John. He thought of that, but dude, it's so, and you got to think of nuanced solutions. But we're getting everyone out of the woodwork, man. I mean, everyone needs these virtual tours, and so it's
No,
wild.
I think it's great. I mean, just think about like my agency, right? We have an office. We pride ourselves on kind of our culture and our open concepts at our offices and things like that. So for hiring or for clients that want to take a look at us and see like, what do these guys got going on? You know, are they reputable? Do they have, are they able to handle working with me? And then from a hiring standpoint, if we have employees that are going to be in the office, that they can see what a day in the office is like.
Yeah.
And I assume, have you ever shot any with like actually people in the space?
So we don't necessarily do that just because it doesn't look right. Like, because you think the camera's turning 360. We need to make it consistent. So like if we're going to have a person in there, they're going to have to be like, a statue almost.
Don't move. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
that would be kind of cool though.
Yeah. So it's more vacant. It's like night in the museum. So they come to live, but we more so have it where they could be, put some voiceovers in there. And we're at the point now where we have different solutions where we can have like a talking male or female, like just say, hey, welcome to, iTech, schools or whatever, or Smithsonian, I don't know. And walk you through the entire process. And, this isn't like new stuff. People have seen this for years now, but it's stuff that people don't necessarily know about that can utilize this in a digital marketing setting, not necessarily real estate. So I'm excited, man. I mean, this is the future. I keep harping on it, but it's great. I love this stuff. It's my life. So.
Well, I mean, I've learned a lot about it just talking to you here. So that's really cool. We're going to check it out for sure. And kind of see what we need to do. And honestly, what benefits it would give to us or our clients. But I think it's great. Real quick, side note, I haven't seen any questions come in from you guys. So if you have any questions, please get them in. We'll try to answer those. Again, it's about virtual tours, Google My Business. So if you have any questions about that, I'm sure someone's going to have questions about that. Of course, we know we have a lot going on in the country right now, so you might not be this on their mind, but trust me. And we'll be putting this out over the next couple of weeks as well. So real quick for anyone listening, we have done we're doing a nonprofit giveaway, Sean. So it's really, we're giving away a website and a digital marketing strategy for a healthcare nonprofit. Ooh. We had quite a few submit. And so just anyone listening, we will be coming out with the winner soon. So that has closed for applications. And as soon as we have who the winner will be, we'll be announcing that soon. So stay tuned for that. Sean, is there anything else on this great Friday you want to mention or throw out there?
Honestly, man, I don't want to plug myself at all. I just want to say, we need to be kind to each other. We need to be thoughtful of the future for what we really want to do and just be a good role model. I mean, I've been a lifelong martial artist. I train jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. And the thing I love about it is the respect aspect. We could be trying to tear our heads off in business, but at the end of the day, we shake hands and it's all about respect. And, just thinking of new creative strategies, really. I mean, you have to think, I'm 23. I'm literally 23. I just graduated college in May, Jesus Christ. So I'm thinking, oh my God, this might be, with the recession coming about, because we know it's going to happen, it might be the greatest advantageous financial event in my life to take part of. So I'm ready to go for real estate, stocks, all that stuff. Just be open-minded and you'll find your way.
Yeah, I like the mindset. That's definitely me too. I try not to let things get me down. I try not to blame others for things. You just, again, you're in control of what is in front of you, who's around you, to some degree. And that's all you can do. So just get out there and fight for it and, do your best. Right. So, but don't get yourself down on what if this happens or what if that happens and making up all these scenarios of all the things that could go wrong, because that's just a waste of your time. Just
move on to the next thing and execute. Move on to the next thing and execute. Use those failures as building blocks for the next thing. Don't dwell on them. Don't think, oh, I'm a failure. You got to use that for motivation, and losing is a great teacher. Losing is a great teacher.
It's the best teacher for sure. So, I'm 38 right now, so a little bit older than you, but I started my first business when I was 23. So
nice.
I've had quite a few businesses, been in multiple partnerships, and just learned a ton from all this experience, good and bad. And but yeah, the failures are the ones that teach you the best. So they're the one you're going to hang on to the most. So
amen, brother.
yes, sir. Well, Sean, anything else you need? Let's reach out. I definitely want to get back on with you to do a separate interview for our podcast.
100%, man.
A lot of entrepreneurship together, and I look forward to talking again. And then, yeah, have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and keep the hustle going.
You got it, my man. Kev, thank you so much for having me on. Everyone listening, take it easy. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, Sean.
Take it easy, buddy.